We need to discuss this man, Benjamin Netanyahu, and how he has been a total and utter strategic failure for the state of Israel. And with elections coming up in Israel in October, it is paramount that the Israeli people get rid of Bibi Netanyahu as a leader because he has been a disaster for your country. Let's discuss. The first big mistake we'll discuss is opposing Obama's nuclear agreement with Iran, known as the JCPOA. This agreement brought together Iran, the EU, China, France, Russia, the UK, Germany, and the United States. And in return for providing sanctions relief, Iran agreed not to pursue the development of nuclear weapons or enriching uranium. And the independent inspectors that were being let into the country all agreed that Iran was holding up its end of the bargain until Netanyahu convinced Trump to withdraw from the agreement. Afterwards, Iran started enriching uranium again. And the reason Bibi rejected this deal is because he did not believe in Obama's strategy of containing Iran. Instead, he wanted to pursue regime change in Iran, which leads us to our quagmire today. The next big strategic failure for Bibi has to do with his policy of funding Hamas. Yes, prior to October 7th, Israel pursued a policy of having Qatar help fund Hamas in Gaza, which helped them build up arms for their successful attack on Israel on October 7th. And you'll be wondering, this sounds crazy. Why was Israel pursuing a strategy of funding Hamas when now they're saying we have to destroy Hamas at any cost? Well, it's because they oppose a two-state solution. And the way to sabotage a two-state deal was to keep the Palestinian Authority divided, with Fatah controlling the West Bank and Hamas controlling Gaza. So they wanted to maintain this separate power structure so no negotiation on a two-state solution could ever begin. So it always blows my mind when I hear Israeli spokespeople talk about Hamas when prior to October 7th, they were okay with Qatar sending them briefcases full of money because they wanted to sabotage a two-state solution at all costs. And now the latest disaster brought to you by Netanyahu is this Iran war. And we have information from the talks that were taking place before the war that Iran had offered to blend down all of their enriched uranium and stop enriching it in return for sanctions relief. And Israel convinced Donald Trump not to take this deal and instead to do a surprise attack on Iran. This war now risks Israel's most important alliance, which is with the United States, where opinions of Israel are rapidly turning more negative by the day. And support for military aid to Israel is becoming increasingly unpopular with the American electorate, both on the left and the right. And with something like 15 to 20% of Israel's military budget coming from the United States and 80% of its weapons, losing this U.S. alliance or becoming much colder could become catastrophic for the state of Israel. The sad part is these failures really haven't translated into much political change in Israel, and Likud and other right-wing parties are still very popular, and more left-wing parties are still struggling to gain popular support.